This is Action View macro lens versus the Action 6 here using ultra wide as well. It's now set to f3. Made sure that this variable aperture is set to auto between f2 and f4, and it looks like the sun is popping up again. So we've been talking a little bit in the shades now, and now we have the sun behind me. So f3 still, and the Ace Pro has nothing, obviously. But this is what it looks like when the sun is on the side here. You see when we get this on my face again and see if there's any differences now versus the previous comparison here. So this is just between the Ace Pro 2 and the Action 6, because these are two really good cameras, and even though I expected too much, I guess, of the Action 6, which is basically the Action 5, because there's no differences in image quality, and when you buy a camera like this, the average user of an action camera like this is not going to use that full sensor, because if you use that full 1/1.1 inch sensor and the open gate, then you will have these boxes on the top right, left, bottom right, left corner, which is going to be recorded and it's going to be in your frame. So I'm going to show you that in a second here, but now it's still on f3, and yeah, the settings are exactly the same. Exposure value is minus 0.3 on both cameras. Auto white balance, highest bit rate, macro lens, no macro lens. But I should be able to, well, that means I have to change the aperture if I want to get closer, but it says it sits on f3 now still. And this is what it looks like when the sun is hitting my face once again. So hopefully it looks better, I don't know. Now the settings I'm using is 4K 30 FPS ultra wide rocksteady on the Action 6, and 4K 30 Action View on the Ace Pro 2. One thing about the macro lenses is that both of these cameras comes with a macro lens. The macro lens for the Action 6 is not yet available here, and it's also going to cost me $200. That's the price I have to pay for it here in Norway after converting the Norwegian kroners to dollars and all of that. So it's really expensive, and for $200 I could actually just buy a second Neo 2 and have some fun with one of them, see how durable they are and so on. But I really wanted to give the Action 6 a second try here, because I really want to like this camera. It's set to f3 now, so how does it compare to the Ace Pro 2 and the macro lens? Again, both settings are the same. No, actually it's set to f3, sorry. Both settings are the same. We have the macro lens and not the macro lens. How does the sun look behind me here? On the previous sample I did, when I was just placing the camera on the ground or walking by, was some really artificial stuff going on with the sun back here. It's hard to say on the looking at the screen here, but you definitely see more of the sun, the circle of the sun on this one than you do on this one, which just looks kind of blown out actually. But again, doesn't matter to a lot of people depending on your preferences and what you need. So yeah, which is it any improvement? This is exactly straight out of the box. Well, there is some adjustments like minus 0.3 exposure value, and white balance is still set to auto. And the audio is the internal microphones on both cameras. I made sure to set this to wind reduction now on the Ace Pro 2, and the Action 6 is using that new smart feature thing, which is going to improve the image quality, audio quality I mean. So which one sounds better? Is it still the Action 6, or is it better now with the Ace Pro 2 set to wind reduction? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Alright, so I changed over to free frame video and the open gate on the Action 6 here. Just gonna face the sun a little bit. I assume both of them will look good. Still have the macro lens on the Ace Pro 2 though. Didn't bring the standard lens cap, so have to stick with this one, but this is not like a raw comparison with these two cameras. I just wanted to show you the macro lens as well, and as well as the wide angle lens. Maybe do a separate video on that later, but this is the open gate on the Action 6. This is the settings that most people will use, so that means you're not going to get the full open gate as claimed by a lot of people, but it records in 4K 30 FPS, 1:1, rock steady, ultra wide. So this is the settings that a lot of people, most people, 99% something, will use with if they decide to buy the Action 6, because you don't want a shaky footage and you also want the widest field of view. So if you want to any wider than this and want to take full advantage of the open gate, you will have to turn off stabilization. So for the average user, you're not going to do that. Very few people are going to do that. You're going to use it straight out of the box, basically, with your preferred settings. And we can also notice the cutouts on the top and the bottom here. So if you want the full picture, you will have to include these in your video as well. So now it looks awful, and you will have to crop it. And cropping it will get back to 16:9. So that's the same as just shooting in 16:9. And if you want the vertical, you just select vertical and you will also eliminate those cutouts. However, this one will give you the option to crop that in post anyway. So it's exactly the same as free frame, and the free frame been on the market for like 4 years or something. So it's nothing new on the Action 6. There's nothing new on this camera except for the variable aperture, and I'm not sure how that is doing, but it says that the camera has set this to f3 now, so that's what it looks like. I hope it's much better than my previous test where I looked like a carrot mixed with a tomato and boiled in with a lobster or something. It was just awful, and it kind of put me off on this camera, and I was on the fence of just returning it the same day. But how does it look now when the sun is behind me here? Which one has the best exposure in free frame and open gate on my face jacket? Which one looks better? I can see that the Ace Pro 2 is brighter on my face, but that's just on the screen. I'm curious to know which one you prefer more out of these two cameras in this type of environment. Let me know in the comments below. So like I said, the open gate on the Action 6 it's nothing new, and it's really funny that everything here now is open gate, everything is open gate. Before it wasn't even a word. No average person talked about it at all. This open gate, I don't know, man. I don't think this is for me. I would never use it, because most of my videos is going to be 16:9 anyway, so I can play it back on my TV, I can watch it on my phone in landscape mode, and on my computer, on YouTube, and so on. Is it nice to have? Well, if you really need it, yeah. If you really want to pay extra just to get this feature, of course you're getting the variable aperture as well, which I hope is working better this time. I really want it to work, because I would really like to. Is this orange? It looks pretty green on the Ace Pro, but this is the new improved white balance sensor. So if it's orange or not green, it's quite off actually, because it's really green. The Ace Pro 2 is really accurate on that one. On the screen, to mention that on the screen, the final output could be different. So yeah, this open gate thing, it's not really for me, is it? I don't think so. I have free frame on the Ace Pro 2. I barely use it, to be honest, because it's not really something I use. I just crop the image, or if I want to film my videos in vertical, I just move the camera like this and I have a vertical video. And even though I have to record things twice if I'm doing that, it's completely fine, because it's going to be a short form content anyway, so what I'm saying is not going to last for an eternity. Okay, so the open gate does not work in low light mode, so super night mode. I'll change over to super night now, on pure video on the Ace Pro 2. So In night mode, you have wide as the widest on the Action 6, and you have ultra wide as the widest on the Ace Pro 2. So you get a wider field of view on the Ace Pro 2 compared to the Action 6. So that's also something to consider when you're buying any of these cameras, if you're gonna shoot a lot of low light footage. And also another thing, if you don't know, you can also use the super night and the pure video mode in daylight. So if you go from, or if you set it up as a low light shooting mode, and then you see that you're gonna enter the lights for a few minutes or something like that, you don't really have to stop the record to set it over to the normal video mode. You can still continue using the low light mode, because there's actually not much differences between the normal video mode and the super night mode and the pure video when you're using it in daylight. Whoa, that is wide, man. 189 degrees. 189 degrees. What? That is crazy wide. Whew. How does it look? The sun facing me versus the ultra wide on the Action 6. This is 189 degrees field of view versus 155 degrees field of view on the Action 6. Like I said, not a comparison, it just shows you the differences. What you can get with a wide angle lens on the Action 6 as well will be 185, is it 186? It's not going to be very far off the look that you see on the Ace Pro 2 now. So you're gonna get approximately the same-ish, give or take. I'm not sure if you're gonna see too much difference between these two wide-angle lenses if you decide to go with the one for the Action 6, but this is wide. Man, it feels like a 360 camera now. Man, imagine 6 months from now, I can actually take full advantage of this and use it on my motorcycle. Like I mentioned earlier, we have these lens rubber, silicone rubber covers here, which I can just put on the lens and take it off. We don't have that on the macro lens. I'm not sure if it is on the boost lens for the Action 6, but this is what you get with the wide angle lens versus a standard ultra wide or a standard action view on any action camera. I guess we still have the ultra wide lens for the GoPro as well, so this is nothing new. It's just that both Insta360 and DJI has now added these to their arsenal of accessories of what you can purchase, which is nice, but the price differences is quite huge for me when it comes to these two. That's why I didn't even consider pre-ordering or putting in an order for the macro lens yet on the Action 6, because I'm a little bit unsure of whether or not I should keep this camera or not, because it is exactly the same as the Action 5. It's just warmer out of the box with the new improved temperature sensor, give or take. I think it depends on the environment you're in. So now I am in a very harsh environment for these action cameras. The sun doesn't go higher than this. This is like the highest it goes, and it goes just in a straight line, and it pops down over there because it's winter. So we have just a few hours of sunlight, so it doesn't go as high. So we have that like half golden hour throughout the entire day, basically, when it's sunny. So if the sun was higher, it means that more of the scenery and everything, more of the vegetation ground would be brighten up, which could really help with the exposure, colors and everything on these action cameras. That's why it might be a little bit too yellowish on some of them, too reddish, or too orange. But you have the option to change the white balance if you want to. I don't know which one of these looks better now. if you just look at the colors. But man, that lens is wide. Whew. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy.